Emmanuel Hostin, the husband of the View host Sunny Hostin, has been accused of widespread insurance fraud, and Sunny basically admitted to it on camera. Let's talk about it.
Like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance, and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do.
The true sign of the apocalypse is someone that dumb has a law degree. So that makes Sunny Hostin, who thinks climate change caused the solar eclipse, the dumbest.
Greg Gutfeld and Kat Timpf are roasting Sunny Hostin hard after her husband's $450 million fraud lawsuit. She's getting grilled harder than a Thanksgiving turkey. The jokes? Even funnier than those alleged offshore accounts. After hearing them, you'll question reality, and maybe even your lawyer.
You know, I make fun of The View a lot, but that's only because they keep talking. Because COVID also taught Sunny Hostin how to get her groceries delivered.
3 years, that's when I discovered Instacart, and I give them a big tip because they don't always pay their people well, and it's so that's been an issue, I think, for the company. But man, you can get toiletries, you can get fire logs.
Fire logs? She had to tell the audience that she tips big because even she knows she sounds insufferable.
Dr. Emmanuel Manny Hostin, an orthopedic surgeon and husband of The View co-host Sunny Hostin, is accused in December lawsuit fraudulently billing insurance. By the way, this is a Daily Caller story I'm reading. The lawsuit alleges Hostin knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services in exchange for kickbacks and or compensation, and names him among nearly 200 defendants in one of New York's largest RICO cases.
Sunny Hostin thought it was just another day preaching on The View, but karma hit back. While she spoke on justice and ethics, news broke that her husband was tied to a massive fraud case that makes Bernie Madoff look like he ran a lemonade stand.
I hit myself in the face so I can feel something. You know, it's like so boring. He's like, yeah, I like Instacart, but don't worry, I tip the poors. But, you know, Joy, you actually don't like Instacart and you do like the store. And then Joy is like, yeah, I do. I like to go to the store. I like to walk around and see what's at the store, what I do want, what I don't want. Maybe I want tuna fish, and I just...
And Greg and Kat? They feasted on it. Gutfeld dished out punchlines like aged hypocrisy, crispy and dry, almost kissing his fingers after each one. It wasn't commentary. It was a gourmet roast with a side of smug satisfaction. Kat laughed like she'd been saving receipts for years. A brutal takedown of The View.
Hospital that displays human misfailure. Like, it's like here, let's look at this political oddity. Ah! You know, it's like, it really is like the left-wing equivalent of a carnival sideshow, except instead of bearded ladies and fat clowns and two-headed cows. Well, let me rephrase that. But The View is a victim of the sunk cost fallacy. You know, how can you now speak the truth when for years you've been telling lie after lie after lie? Now you're carrying this big bag of rocks around you because it's too harmful for their ego to admit that we really were dishonest. And they could be honest. All they would have to say is, look, we hate Trump so much. We were willing to lie about Joe Biden because we felt he was preferable. We thought our lying and our cover-up was on your behalf. Just say that. You're still scum, but...
This was karma with flair, and Kat wasn't surprised. She lit up as Sunny's moral halo melted under the heat of justice, exposing a crown of contradiction. Let's be real. If The View were a luxury brand, hypocrisy would be its bestseller, and Sunny its top promoter. You can't preach virtue daily, then bolt when your own life starts looking like the Wolf of Wall Street. That's not moral consistency.
Lovin' finally shows me some lovin'. Yesterday on The View, yours truly was the subject of conversation. Apparently the broads have no idea who I am, or so they say. Hit it, Gladys.
They said that Gutfeld talks about you all the time.
Who is he? Really, who is he?
I don't watch the show.
He has a show.
I don't watch the
never
show.
heard of him.
Yeah.
I guess he's just obsessed with me.
No. Next, Joy's going to say she's never heard of carbs. Seriously, her denial of knowing me is as believable as her red hair. But obsession? I mean, come on, Joy. Where would you even get that idea? Like Joy Behar's face, it's looking worse and worse by the day. More full of crap than Joy Behar after a night of scotch and Taco Bell. Her being named Joy is like me being named ugly. Joy wasn't there on the show. Apparently Mondays are her days off when she feeds in the pasture. It now smells like a humid day inside.
This wasn't a plot twist. It was Karma's script, rewritten in Gutfeld's writer's room. Greg joked Sunny should launch a new segment, Allegedly Yours. Hot takes from the moral high ground. No subpoenas required. Kat, deadpan as ever, chimed in. Finally, a View storyline that's accidentally entertaining. Together, they shattered The View's arrogance like an overpriced IKEA shelf. Then came the toast to poetic justice. Gutfeld didn't just use sarcasm. He wielded surgical irony, inviting the whole nation to watch Sunny's image unravel.
All right, Kat, did you ever see such a group? It's amazing how Joy and Whoopi became the smart ones.
For me, the most shocking thing about the conversation was how truly boring it was. They're like, well, the cicadas, they're cicadas. Okay, but it was like every 100 years. No, it's every 17 years. Do you know how many Emmys this show has? 31.
31 Emmys.
This show has 31. I mean, I'd hate to see the conversations that don't make.
Sunny's moral brand collapsed. Greg strutted like a cat blaming the dog. Kat smirked, this'll be fun, and joked about a new show, finger wagging and financial crimes. Reality just exposed Sunny's fake virtue.
Johnsonville is recalling more than 42,000 pounds of pork sausage for possible contamination with plastic fibers. Fortunately, authorities were able to track all 42,000 pounds to a single location in New York City.
Greg joked Sunny's next segment needs a game wheel. Fraud, privilege, or selective outrage. Spin to deflect. Backstage? Total chaos. Producers scramble. Quick, mention Meghan Markle. Co-hosts switched to love and light. Code for we've lawyered up. Greg was loving it. Kat? Like watching her favorite reality show's explosive finale, where even the fake plants are suing.
Not surprised that there's one part of the video from the show yesterday that you left out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, can we roll that, please?
I don't watch the show that much, but I've seen it.
Who is that?
Who is that? Greg Gutfeld's one of the hosts of The Five, who, if I don't have anything nice to say, I generally don't say anything at all. I would just say this, his show should be called Kat Timpf, not Gutfeld, because she's the funny one on it.
Somebody's flirting with little Kat over here.
Well, she's the Republican one at the table, but I just think as a libertarian, I'm always looking to find common ground with other people because nobody really shares my politics. So I find some common ground in The View where she thinks I'm.
This wasn't just a Sunny Hostin meltdown. It was the media tripping over its own hypocrisy. As The View scrambled for damage control, Greg and Kat cranked up the sarcasm. When your show's moral voice is tied to a $450 million fraud case, you lose more than credibility. You lose your compass. Greg and Kat weren't just mocking a talk show. They were popping the elite hypocrisy bubble. America watched with popcorn, waiting to see how The View would spin it. Greg called it the ultimate self-parody. Years of preaching, now unraveling in court.
Sunny Hostin get her opinions, like you said, and it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say on The View because without it, she's got nothing up there. She's not very bright. But the problem with her is that she went full racist. She injected skin color into a fairly generic behavior seen in all spouses, regardless of skin color. People marry, they listen to each other, they have something in common with them, they share their political views. She just didn't want to upset her husband by saying her husband makes her do everything, and then she'd have to accuse him of being a racist. Because if he told her that this is what white women do, then he's a racist. You see?
The best part? The scale of the alleged fraud. This wasn't a parking ticket. It's the kind that makes Wall Street villains take notes. Yet The View barely blinked. Kat called out how they ignored Sunny's scandal with far less outrage than they'd show a conservative sneezing the wrong way. No music stings, no fiery panel, just a quiet segue like $450 million fraud was a wardrobe slip. If it were someone on the right, Meghan McCain would have been torched live. Greg added, irony packed its bags, moved to Manhattan, and got front row seats to The View. And Sunny? Suddenly silent. No justice speeches this time.
You know who just stunk up The View. The Bidens joined The View this morning for the entire hour. The audience was caught off guard, but knew something was up when they saw a dozen Secret Service agents and 2 embalmers. There were a few awkward moments, though, when a confused Joe asked if he could bid on the showcase. But was he surprised, Kamala?
Greg turned criticism into performance art, mocking Sunny's sanctimony with peak sarcasm. He joked about starting a national popcorn fund to follow the saga and suggested a book deal for Sunny, calling her a literary conundrum. Her reputation, built on sanctimony and legal expertise, now clashed with financial records as twisted as an M. Night Shyamalan plot. Meanwhile, The View responded with a collective hug and amnesia. Kat pointed out their week-long moral rants over conservative slip-ups, yet now there was nothing.
That's not what I read. The true sign of the apocalypse is someone that dumb has a law degree. Worse, if your name has the word sun in it, there's no excuse for not knowing how an eclipse works. But it's no surprise that Joy is the one who understands science. She's been on the science diet for years. They're turning on me. So that makes Sunny Hostin, who thinks climate change caused the solar eclipse, the dumbest of them all. Because everyone knows the moon caused the eclipse, which is controlled by The View's gravitational pull.
But $450 million. Let's go back to Fashion Week, Kat joked. She even suggested calling it the skew, perfect for turning uncomfortable topics into eye rolls. Greg, ever the showman, imagined if he or Kat had any connection to such a fraud, they'd be gone faster than Joy Behar stops anyone from finishing a sentence. The double standard was obvious, making waves. The View has long been criticized for dressing mistakes as ethical lessons, but this time, it was served with a side of schadenfreude. Greg and Kat turned it into a satirical feast, making sharp, quiet points while exposing the absurdity of a moral evangelist caught in her own trap.
As The View had since it first started, I've lost count. I don't know any of these people.
No, that's because they don't stick around long enough. There have been 17 since 1997. That's a lot. That's because they're women.
Oh, really?
Their hormones, they're changing their minds. I don't want to work here. Yes, I do. That's why. Women are always changing jobs every day.
Wow,
I just quit.
Direct mail to Catherine Timpf. Not me. I disavow everything she did.
The View hoped the storm would pass, but it won't. Not with Gutfeld and Kat on the mic. The real issue isn't just the case, but the arrogant atmosphere of The View, where accountability is shifted, double standards run wild, and the truth gets bent like a news cycle. While Sunny's legal team stays quiet, the rest of us laugh. Greg and Kat expose the hypocrisy, turning a $450 million fraud into a comedy with a twist. Even if The View tries to move on, the story, Sunnyside fraud, will stick thanks to Greg and Kat. The facts and jokes will remain.